Hello and welcome back to Chapter 4, Marketing, Providing Value to the Customer. What we're going to be doing today is finishing up our discussion on marketing with what's called the product life cycle. All products go through a particular life cycle from introduction through growth, maturity, and then decline. So let's take a look at each of those sections in a little more detail. So first of all, let's talk about the introduction stage. In the introductory stage, the key marketing activities that a company must do is to make people aware of the new product. This product might be a new adaptation of a product that's already been on the market, or it might be an all-new product that a company is coming out for the first time. And so making the public aware of that product is critical. There's very little, if any, competition depending on the product. And as we talked earlier, many times we will use a price skimming approach, one reason being because of the lack of competition. But people are willing to pay additional monies to receive products when they're new to market. And so people are willing to spend the higher price, so the companies set the price a little higher. And as I talked about in a previous video, then as the demand for that product at a certain price begins to reduce, then the manufacturer, the marketer, slowly brings the product down and entices a new group of buyers to buy that product. Many times there are few distribution channels. This is especially true with a brand new product. Retailers and wholesalers aren't comfortable selling a new product until they know there's going to be demand for it. So in the introductory phase, making people aware of it and finding ways to take it to market are extremely critical. The second stage we call the growth stage. As you can see by the sales line, growth. In the growth stage, sales take off considerably. So throughout this process, we are building sales. More and more demand for the product is being seen. But as the product sales take off, our competitors see the value and the success of that particular product, and so we start seeing new competitive products enter the market. And those new competitive products help drive the price lower because there's now competition in the market. Because the sales are growing, more and more retailers or wholesalers would like to carry the product, and so we see more and more organizations selling the product, therefore giving us more distribution channels, and profits are rising at this time. We then go into the maturity stage. And at this point, we see sales growing at a decreasing rate. And so sales continue to grow, at least initially in this phase, but they're growing slower than they had been in the past. In order to be successful and to continue selling these products, we have to differentiate our product from the competition. We have to have new features or new benefits for our products so that customers want our product and not one of the competitors. Many times price wars begin because a lot of people own these products, and in order to get the remaining people who maybe don't have these products interested in buying, lower and lower and lower prices need to be implemented, and therefore you see price wars going on between competitors. Profits are up with sales because of the fact that there's more and more sales going on. It's been a while since we've introduced the product, so we've received some economies of scale. But what we begin to see at this point is that the customer's preferences are changing, and therefore, again, in this maturity stage, toward the end of it, we start seeing our sales decrease. The last phase, called the decline phase, demand is actually dropping. Okay, increased price competition continues because of the fact that there are fewer and fewer people interested in buying the product. Profits are low, or at some point, some companies are no longer profitable that are making these products. And at this point, some companies stop manufacturing, stop selling certain products. So the manufacturer needs to figure out a way to regenerate sales, and so they have two options. One is to either revitalize the product, come out with new activities, new features, new benefits for the product, or discontinue selling the product altogether. Take different types of cell phones. You know, after a year or 18 months, the customer is becoming less satisfied with the products the way they are, and so the manufacturers come out with new features and new benefits of their product, and so in that case they revitalize the product. But if you go back when VCRs were popular, at some point people made the decision to just stop making them because some enhancements in technology had enhanced other products, and therefore people no longer wanted the VCRs. In the buying process, all customers go through these 5 steps. Now, sometimes we go through them pretty quickly, and sometimes we take a lot longer to do it. But nonetheless, when we make a purchase decision, we go through these 5 steps. First is we have to realize we have a need. If my car is involved in an accident and I cannot repair it, well, what I have is I have to recognize my need. Well, my need is not a new car or even a used car. My need is transportation. And so at that point, I can go through a process of figuring out what is my best alternative to meet my need. Maybe it is a new car, maybe it is a used car, maybe it is a bus pass, maybe it is a new bicycle. But the idea is that my need drives the information that I need to look for in order to figure out how I can meet that need. Once I've done my information search, I then have to evaluate all my alternatives. Should I buy a new car? Should I buy a used car? Should I not buy a car and Uber everywhere I want to go? But the point is that I take time to figure out what are my alternatives and evaluate the pros and cons of each. I then at that point realize, okay, I am going to buy a different car. I can't afford a new car, so I'm going to buy a used car, and I make that purchase. Once I've made that purchase, a process called post-purchase evaluation starts. I bought the car, and now I start wondering, did I make the right choice? If I have a lot of success and enjoy the new vehicle, I will be happy with my purchase. If I bought a used car and it seems never to be running real well, or it needs more and more work all the time, then I might have what we call purchase dissonance or unsatisfaction with that product. And so I then wish I maybe would have done something different. And so then at that point, I may get frustrated enough to say, you know what, I need to reevaluate this whole process. My car is constantly in the shop. I don't have a good, reliable transportation, and the whole process starts all over again. So there are different things that influence our buying behavior. There are some things that are psychological, our motivation, our perception, the things we've learned in the past, my personality, my attitudes. Those things are psychological that influence what I purchase to meet my needs. There are also what we call social factors, family, reference groups, culture, things that influence how or what I purchase based on who I am, where I live, how much money I have, who my friends are, what my family thinks of it, etc. And so as marketers, we have to constantly take into consideration that when people are making buying choices, they have all these factors that need to come into play. That ends the discussion on Chapter 4, Marketing. We will wrap up the discussion, and if you have any questions, contact your instructor. Thank you.